And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Episode 14. It's going to be our most stacked show yet. We have your host, Matt Musselwhite. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryan Kern.
How do you do?
And we are joined by our guest.
It's
no
me.
Fucking buddy.
It's me. I'm the guest.
It's not you.
It is.
We had a rapper.
Great stuff.
We had a rapper booked for a live in-studio interview, but his parole officer caught up with them, and now he's got to serve 7 more years. So I don't want to reveal his name and, have to do him that injustice. Stop snitching. We are 6ix9ine fans. Speaking of 6ix9ine, your
up?
boy, my boy,
our boy. My boy officially. I saw him taped up with money. I saw him in his money body armor that he had on, flexing on everybody.
Duct taped with cash. Yeah, definitely duct taped.
As he was pouring coke out for the homies, by the way, all over his platinum records or whatever records he had.
He was pouring it all over the Trippy red plaque, and I was like, are you not cool with Trippy anymore? Or do you just not give a fuck? Is this going to be sticky?
I think he was representing. Isn't fucking Trippy Red super into coke? Isn't that like a thing? Isn't the coke a thing?
I don't know, but to see all those platinum plaques and shit, not only do they look cool, his art is cool. Shouts to the homie, man. Did all these numbers under house arrest. Filmed a super awesome, successful video while under house arrest. He posted
Officially
a video
off
of
house
him
arrest.
Off house arrest now. He had a video of him taking down all the wallpaper and shit. He said he made all these numbers and all this money from his living room. So shouts to him. That's a big accomplishment. I couldn't do that.
Way to hustle, my guy. We're trying. Trust, we're trying. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not succeeding.
I mean, I think that shit was dope as fuck. He's got a new song out called Yaya or Yaya or Ya. It's completely in Spanish. It's got a new video out.
Yep.
Video's hot. There's a super hot chick in there with a super hot ass. So I'm a fan of that.
He's consistent in those videos too, by the way. I'm 6ix9ine. I appreciate your consistency in those videos. You know what I'm saying? With the top shelf talent. I appreciate it.
Always. He did have the biggest drop off in Billboard history with his single with Nicki Minaj, Trolls. It did fall off pretty hard. But he's got 3 singles out. This is just the house arrest saga. So from here on out, you're going to see a more normal kind of release schedule for singles and promotion and eventually another album that's probably going to chart really big for him.
Hopefully, I don't want it to come as a surprise to anybody that 6ix9ine is not charting very well. I think that his investigation process into the whole thing probably threw a wrench into his numbers and positive performance as of late, but I can only imagine that he's climbing for the top 5 once again, so I can only wait.
When you make songs like Trolls featuring Nicki Minaj, you're kind of like the flavor of the week for all the listeners, all the streaming services. You're a big deal, you're making numbers, and as soon as that song is out, it's kind of done with, and you got to move on to the next thing. And when you're someone like 6ix9ine, where your entire career is based on breaking the next, social media number, live streaming number, then it's a little difficult. It's not like he's got an easy path. Like, if you think about this from a business standpoint, the dude's got the fame and the notoriety, but it ain't an easy sell. I mean, you're still dealing with a highly controversial figure. I'm really curious to see what the album will do. I think it'll be really well. But when you see singles come and go and fade quicker than like an EDM single, I mean, this shit came and went quicker than like a fucking Hardwell remix. Like, it's already done.
Oh man,
sorry, Hardwell.
Are you shooting? I bring up dance music for one episode, and I feel like I'm like, hey, can we talk dance music? And all of a sudden, you're just shooting down Hardwell.
One day we're gonna do a big dance music episode where we just like shove a bunch of Molly up our butts and then just give album reviews strictly on dance music.
I think I might have done that once at Hard already, and it was quite the
There
event.
wasn't a podcast for it, though.
And I wasn't Hard, so.
Neither is Hardwell. Oh, right back
Hey! Well, hold on. Wait, what?
Any sort of update on the Belle Delphine front? I am still $645 in the hole. I need to borrow some money. Okay, so that's all we got on the Belle. That's all we got on the Belle Delphine front.
Thank God. I was super excited.
Big news here. Did you hear about this? Huh? Poppy announced that she's engaged to Ghostmane. I don't know who any of these people are, and I don't know what any of this means, but I couldn't fucking care less.
Okay, first of all, First of all, let me just stop you right there. If you don't know who Poppy is, you are living under a little bit of a rock, okay? Poppy is a phenomenon, as you will. She is this artist that has like a full
Phenomena.
phenomena, a whole like metal fucking band behind her, and she does just. I mean, I almost thought she was K-pop for a second by the way that she's got like the dancey. I mean, it's very dancey. I don't even know really how to describe it, but she's got a
I
song
have
that
appreciation for Poppy. It's metal. She's weird. She's got like
It's like
most of the
synth pop.
time she has like a pretty look on her face, but she kind of looks confused. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to do with any of that. I don't know where to file it. I
She's
don't know
fucking
when to listen
groundbreaking.
to her. I don't know when the appropriate time is to listen to a Poppy song.
Probably
I
never.
don't know. I don't know when the appropriate year is to like come out and say like I don't understand Poppy. I don't
Wikipedia has her
understand.
described as bubblegum music. So, I mean, maybe when you're chewing bubblegum. I don't know.
If she collabed with Ghostmane, would it be the worst song ever made?
It could be. And hey, I'm not saying go listen to Poppy and be like the fucking fanboy, but she's got
But
a
I
song
am
where
saying don't listen to Ghostmane.
do not listen to Ghostmane. That's the first negative integer of this entire
Ghostmane
equation.
is a gateway drug to Xanax addiction.
Not just Xanax addiction, bad decision making, probably a poor social group.
Baby
but at the same
mamas
time-
with multiple baby daddies.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have to listen to music like Poppy's, and it's just gonna be weird. She did talk about wanting to be buried into a street, though, and I felt I don't know something animalistic about it a little bit. That's what caught me on. I've got one song by her that I like, and it's called like Street, and she talks about being buried in concrete.
You know what's very fitting is I think both of these, Poppy and Ghostmane, want to be black metal so fucking bad, but they have absolutely no characteristics to describe their music as being black metal. But maybe now they can form like the most poser duo ever. Oh, what's up? My inbox is full of Poppy hate. Whatever. I don't. It's whatever.
Oh, it's coming, dude. She's got I don't know. She's got an army, I'm sure.
I only fear the Swifties
Oh God.
and K-pop
Oh, no.
Twitter. I bow down to K-pop Twitter. I do not fuck with K-pop Twitter. I will
You
not
bow
fuck
down
with
to
you.
any Twitter that fucking gives you like a couple hearts.
No,
Yeah.
that's not
I
true.
saw you
K-pop
in the
Twitter's
furry
never
Twitter.
give me a heart. Did you
Well,
say
yeah,
furry
'cause-
Twitter?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, big on furry Twitter. So in more relevant news of someone who actually has good music, Kanye is running for president. Have you heard about this? Huh? Can you believe this? Kanye is running for president, huh? What's going on here, huh? What the
And
fuck,
he also
huh?
dropped the hottest gospel rap of all time. Fucking blood,
All
wash us in your blood.
time.
Wash us in your blood. I mean, maybe not, but I mean, dude, I didn't expect another gospel song. Wasn't expecting that. And you
I
and me
did.
listened to it in the car drinking cream slushes, by the way. Thank you for introducing that to me because cream slushes are phenomenal. But yeah,
This episode is brought to you by... No, it's not. It's actually not brought to you by Cream Slushes. It's has nothing to do with Sonic, but shouts to Sonic.
Could
If
you
you want to throw us
imagine,
money,
dude?
we will make more people drink your Cream Slushes.
Could you imagine if we had a sponsorship of cream slushes?
We're only sponsored by Cream Slushes. Like we can get those like on the retainer, but if we order tots, like we gotta pay for them.
This would be the first crossover of a podcast going into a reality television show because you'd have a podcast suddenly turn into my 600-pound lives and be featuring both of us as you're fucking dragging us out of a crane through the ceiling because all we do is drink cream slushes.
Talk about Brooke's new project, Man of God. Who the fuck is that? What is that? What does any of that mean?
Hold on. I'll fucking start doing
Brooks?
research. Go ahead and talk about Kanye. Go talk about Kanye.
So Kanye is running for president. I don't need to know the details. I don't care what the details are. He's got my vote. End of story. I don't care what his campaign is. I don't care what his stances are. That man wrote Jesus Walks. He also dropped the College Dropout, Late Registration, 808s and Heartbreaks. So he's got my vote. Bro from Impending Doom. Okay, you can go ahead and stop searching now, Brian. We don't need to look that up at all. Okay. It sounded like a good idea to start, but Brooke was the vocalist for Impending Doom, right? I think he was. Because I want to say that I interviewed him like years ago, back in like 2009 in Pomona.
Back in fucking Face Down Fest or what?
Dude, yeah. So it was a nasty ass show, and the worst
it was
part
Face Down
about it,
Fest. Or
Yeah,
Nine Ridge Records or whatever.
it was Pomona. It was the Glass House. It was
Yeah, it was
sold
pretty
out,
fine.
and I was with my chick, and I did not get in, so she was pissed, and I got to watch As Blood Runs Black and the Acacia Strain play from the window. Then they told us to move. I
Such
interviewed.
a anticlimactic story. Thanks for
Yeah, it was
boring us.
terrible. I interviewed that dude Brooke, and if I ever had any interest in impending doom, it certainly waned that night. I did not give a fuck anymore because
Shout out to go on, man.
shout out to Riverside, impending doom, face down,
Glass
every like
House. Shout out, Face Down
glass
Fest.
house, like everyone in the 916 or no, that's Sacramento. What is 951? Shouts to the 951. Yeah, Shaka Bra.
Shout out to fucking As Blood Runs Black for playing the Hood in like 2016 or fucking
Shouts to
2014.
Impending Doom
Throwing
for
down.
never being one of
Oh,
my
shit.
favorite metal bands, and I thought it was weird, man. Like,
Great presence, man. I saw them at Warped Tour twice. Phenomenal.
Victoria,
So
what's
good.
good? St. Augustine in the building. I tried to like Impending Doom. I thought like, okay, if it's super brutal and crushing, and then it comes with like some godly, Christian lines. Okay, Devil Wears Prada's heavy, but I think Prada's heavier than Impending Doom. Impending Doom just does like blast beats for the sake of being heavy, and that dude Brooke, like, there's been so many bands that I've interviewed that I go in thinking, oh, this is gonna be cool, like their music's cool, they do this or they act like this, and then you go and interview me like, wow, that was like the biggest roasted turd I've ever met in my life. I am so disappointed. I left that interview being so disappointed by Brooke and Impending Doom. Like, what a weird interview. Like, I never ended up airing it because it was so strange. And then, like, the drummer for Winds of Plague was there, and he was trying to be a dick because he knew my ex and all this shit. And, like, fuck all those people. Shouts to Riverside. Shouts to Winds of Plague and Impending Doom and Suicide Silence. Yeah, shouts to
Glass
them.
House. Dude, no, it's funny because I think that that's something that a lot of people are maybe not keen on is when you're in the industry and it does
Michael
kinda suck.
Keenan?
Michael Keenan. And, when you're in the industry, it sucks because you all of a sudden get introduced to your favorite artist and you're like, what? This is who they fucking are, and this you kind of see that like anybody really can make it, and anybody can kind of be put on that pedestal, and then your just whole world starts getting shifted. I mean, I feel like Matt could do a whole fucking book on the times that he's been let down by a man who's interviewed.
Shouts to Vinny Esmeralda, who was in here just a minute ago. He probably left because
He bounced out because we weren't talking about slaves.
Yeah, he's probably buying Xanax from a 13-year-old.
Or the artists formerly known as slaves. Hey, I thought we weren't going to do that. From a 13-year-old?
I'm just making that up. I don't know Vinny to ever do Xanax. I just thought that was a funny joke. Sue me, okay? I got lawyers.
Until Slaves comes out with their new band name, we have to refer to them as the artists formerly known as Slaves.
Oh, man, I hope they just change their name to a symbol, and the symbol is like a poorly drawn dick.
It's like an S. It's like an S. It's got...
The point I brought up, Vinny, was that he's always bringing up acts from, like, what I call my day. Like, when I was obsessed with core bands. You know, that 2007 to, like, 2011, 2012 era. Like, all those bands I pretty much interviewed or spoke to him at some point. And so he brings up these bands. He's like, what about these guys? What about these guys? And I'm like, oh, they're cool. Oh, they were nice. Oh, their bass player did this. And then he brings up, I Set My Friends on Fire. And I was like, oh, Ismfoff. Yeah, I actually interviewed them once. And he's like, were they cool? And I go, no, not at all. They were actually so uninteresting that the interview never started. I told him it was fine and it was over with. And I never interviewed him. So shouts to them for having like super fun music and being like super fucking lame. Like, he even told me it was like, he's just giving me all these reasons of why it's going to be a lame interview. And he's like, sorry, man, I'm just like lame. And I asked him 2 questions, like nothing came out. And I was like, all right, whatever, dude. I want to say it was Nabil. I don't really remember both of their names. But yeah, shouts to them. Tons of bands I've interviewed back in the day that I no longer like. Inaviate, an old Rise Records band that I was obsessed with. Yeah, really stoked on them. My friend booked them in the Valley. Went to see them, ended up accidentally meeting Sean O'Sullivan from Dance Gavin Dance. That was cool. Ended up meeting an Aviate and interviewing later that night, and they turned out to be terrible fucking people.
You know, but you give these terrible people a platform, Matt, and I think you've shown that in the past with your track record. You're willing to forgive and forget, so maybe you just gotta fucking lighten up a little bit,
Fuck them, and they could shove it up their stupid asses. Who's another band I met that turned out to be boring?
You know who was really chill that I didn't expect to be chill? I thought them to be a little bit more bro-ish. No Bragging Rights. We played with No Bragging Rights back in the day at Ignition. Shout out Ignition. And it was fucking a phenomenal show. And we all hung out in the fucking mall, right? Because that's where it was gutted, and there's like a backstage portion to it, right? and they were fucking the chillest dudes, and they were just talking about how like fucking coming up in the music scene was just like a struggle because all they wanted to do was play shows, and like they were talking about basically how it was impossible for them to start anything where they were at because there was basically no opportunities for them to play shows. And it was funny because we're sitting in the middle of Ignition, which ended up going fucking kaput, right? They
Yeah,
stopped
went
doing
under.
shows
They
there
tore
shortly
it
after,
down, put in
and that was one of the
casinos.
main staples in the desert for fucking shows. So it was really dope for them to kind of open up about it. And you're just like, all right, no bragging rights. Legit. I think they deserve a little more respect.
I'm not a
A little more
ring rat or
respect.
anything, but I have spent a few nights with
What's
no
a ring
bragging
rat?
rights, and I'll explain. No bragging rights, us being from Southern California, I'm sure you've seen them a bunch of times where you go to a show and you're like, oh, I didn't even know they were on the bill. That is my entire life story with no bragging rights. I never once intended to see them, but I've seen them about, I don't know, 17 times because they would just be on so many different shows. I know they had a Bon Jovi cover at one point, kind of made me sick. But shouts to them. They were one of the hardest working bands to try to like just keep grinding and grinding, trying to make it, trying to blow up. I don't think they ever really achieved any sort of stardom, or maybe they achieved the goals they set out for, but in the touring community, it's crazy because each member of No Bragging Rights seems to like have found their niche in the touring world. I know a lot of them are like guitar techs or different like drivers and different members of the touring community, so that's always cool. There's a lot of like broken up bands. Like if you liked a band in 2009 and you haven't heard from them since, guaranteed they're probably on the road with someone you do know. That's how it always seems to work out. Do you have any other comments on Kanye running for president? Does he have your vote?
I mean, this is a show where we don't talk politics, so yeah, for sure, he's got my
We
vote.
don't. That's why we're talking about 808s and heartbreaks.
Yeah, he's got my vote for that album and Kids See Ghosts alone. I fucking love Kanye, and I think that I think we all sensed that he was going to do something like this. Now the question is he serious? Because if he's serious, then it gets kind of weird. And apparently he was serious. He was so serious that apparently now, according to TMZ, although the article has been pulled since, but according to TMZ, he was on the verge of a bipolar episode, and his family was very worried about him, and it could have been responsible for some out of character moves from earlier this week, or suspicious moves out of character. And I'm just like, since when does Kanye not give us something suspicious or out of character? And did we not all see this presidential bid coming? I mean, he talked about that a couple years ago that he was going to do it, and now he's done it, and all of a sudden it's getting chalked up to him having a bipolar episode. I mean, he's not calling out Jay-Z. He's not fucking shutting down an entire show. He's just going to say he's going to run for president. And all of a sudden this is coming out that it's like, he's on the verge of another mental breakdown, which kind of sucks because I feel like we've been getting prime Kanye for a hot minute. I feel like we've been getting good Kanye for a hot minute.
I can tell you right now we're not getting prime Kanye because I haven't heard anything like the life of Pablo since that record came out. Ye definitely was not the same as that.
I didn't mean like
Maybe
artistically. I meant, I guess,
maybe he needs
himself.
to go back into debt and put out another Life of Pablo, because that record meant like the world to me for being so good and so weird, having great production and good guest features that like kind of crept up on you because he wouldn't list who the guest features were. Like if you got it from iTunes, it didn't say anyone was featured. You just like, oh, Rihanna's on this song, or oh, Chance the Rapper's on this song. I really dug that, and that's how I look at his presidency. That it'll also be awesome, and you won't know who's in the cabinet, but then you'll be like, oh shit, that's Wiz Khalifa and Wale. What's up? So yeah, I'm with it. In other news,
Does he win? I guess so, man. Could you imagine 2020 and fucking Kanye ends as president? Oh,
I mean,
my God.
compared to the stale ass old white bread that he's running
Oh,
against,
man. Both of
he's-
them. Both of them dumber than the
Yeah.
white bread they're sandwiched in. Oh man.
yeah.
God. All right, let's go. What?
In more positive news, the super cool band Yellowcard is still suing dead rapper Juice WRLD. They are suing Juice over his song Lucid Dreams, that I believe is 6 times platinum. It is a huge song. They claim that it samples Yellowcard's 2006 song Hollywood Died, and they are seeking at least $15 million in damages. It's the third time that the case has proceeded, so they have no intentions of backing out. The rapper Juice WRLD is dead, so they're suing his estate. Do you think this is shitty? Is it money hungry? Are Yellowcard straight up dickhead douchebags? And do you also know that they didn't speak to any other bands on Warped Tour in 2016? And fuck them.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but rough things about Yellowcard, so that's not surprising there. I've always held like a gripe with bands that are suing other artists, right? U2 and Evergreen Terrace has been like my biggest thing. I'm just like, fuck U2. With all the money they've made, they go out of their way and they sue a small band like Evergreen Terrace. I was gonna say, hey, Yellowcard, fuck you, but I didn't want to come in hot like that. I get it. It's your music.
I will.
I think that what you're doing is fucking stupid, and the fact that someone is using your music in a industry that really thrives off of that kind of thing is shitty. And you should be better than that with the success that you've had. It's not like you're some. I think the Ataris also had like a questionable thing like that, and I don't want to say
Yo,
that
fuck
you're.
the Ataris too. I said it. I'm looking
Uh,
at you, Christopher Rowe.
there you go. What's up?
Yeah. I,
What
I
up?
I brought up the fact that I had heard numerous stories of him mistreating his dog, and apparently the dog had just died. And so then I look like the asshole, and it's like, no, bro, like I heard this shit. I don't care if it's a rumor. Like, answer this. Like, is this shit real? And he got all fucking pissed off on me and blocked me. And so we could cover that on a who blocked me fucking like 22 weeks ago type of deal. But yeah, screw that guy. I
Yeah,
look
fuck
at something
Yellowcard.
like this, like yeah, you got a point. Like this is a big part of like the music scene is like sampling and that kind of like loose plagiarism that they do. And so okay, you have a case, this dude ripped off your song. So he's dead. You don't respect the fact that he died. You want to continue the case and you want 15 mil. So are they doing it because they really, really want or need the money, or are they doing it because as an artist they feel ripped off and a six-time platinum song sampled their work and they're not credited for it? I'm kind of torn. I want to respect your artistic view in that you had your art stolen, but I also look at it as like, at the end of the day, what are you doing this for? What is your motivation? Because you're an artist,
Yeah,
because this dude's dead and you're kind of shitting on his legacy a little more. So you must really want the 15 mil at whatever publicity costs it
I
is.
feel like
Like
this
if
has to be a conversation. Like they've got to be like a manager and their lawyers and they're, hey, okay, yeah. So I think we're gonna sue. I think we're gonna continue to sue. No, because we can go after his estate. No, we think we can make this work. And then they're calling each other. Yeah,
well,
no,
I
no,
mean,
I think
it
we are
did
gonna sue,
start
man.
while he was alive, and Jonathan
Right.
Maina brought that up. It
Yeah.
started while he was alive, and then it
Yeah.
was like really like right before he died. It pretty much started, so he hadn't really had shit to do with it. Um, I think it's shitty. I think
But the
that
fact that they're
there's.
going with that decision sucks. Like
I
that
mean,
is
don't get
shitty.
me wrong. I want 15 mil as well, but like if you're an artist, you should be able to look at what Juice World did in a different light because you're artistic, and they must feel like they really got robbed on that one. But what's funny to me is how was he able to make a six times platinum single out of a song that they didn't make go platinum?
I mean, it's
So
Yellowcard.
who's the real fucking artist here? You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's probably where the arguments come in, right? Is it's like, I'm sure that I don't know, dude. I think this shit in the music industry, it's just as ass backwards as anything else. But what sucks is the legacy that now these two are going to be involved in is one over a lawsuit, which is like okay, and yeah, it's just gross.
I mean, it's their choice. They could
Making the
drop it.
decision. They're making the decision. Or their representatives, whoever is representing them is. It could be like Britney Spears. You know her dad runs everything, right? Did you know that?
I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories about Britney, and I don't want to pay attention to them. I don't want to believe them. I don't want to care. I just want to watch the video of the food in the microwave going around in circles with Britney walking outside of the microwave up to it and away. Have you seen it? It's like a TikTok. She
Yeah.
like because she's crazy in these new videos. She walks up to the camera and then she walks away, and so they have her walking up like as if she's checking on her food in the microwave, and she looks hilarious.
Oh,
Um,
I feel bad watching it because Matt, you have to understand that was like my I have fond memories of like some first boners around Britney Spears at like the age of 10 or 11, my guy. This is a girl that I've grown up with, and to know that she's just grown up into this world where she's fucking taken advantage of and abused, and it's like started at such a young age. She was like
Allegedly.
16, 17. Oh,
Allegedly.
dude. No, I think it's pretty apparent, right? I denied it too. And then my sister and fucking the Tired Girls Club and all of them came at me and were just like, it's
Tired
real.
Girls Club,
She's
we are
abused.
actually at war at, so fuck that podcast. Do not rate, do not review, and definitely do not subscribe to the Tired Girls podcast. Fuck that.
Do not. To the Tired
But
Girls Club
also,
podcast.
like, big ups to like two women having a podcast. You know, that's great. You know, great for them, great for diversity. Big ups to the women podcasting and
But
all
not
that.
the Tired Girls Club.
But yeah, but not the Tired Girls Club. Specifically, those two chicks. Fuck them. But
For
every
sure
other
not
chick,
at
hey, big up to you.
tiredgirlsclub.com.
This bud's for you. Definitely don't go to tiredgirls.com. Definitely not what I thought it was. No porn, no sleepy chicks.
You know those ones where like they're asleep and yet it's still able to happen.
Oh
Nobody
my
ever
god.
believes that. Nobody ever
No.
believes that they're asleep, right?
It's just like sleepy naked chicks, and you're like, wow, the guy that took this picture is like a fucking asshole, isn't he? Because like she's asleep. Does she even know she's on like hot dude boners from butts.com? She doesn't even
Yeah,
know.
dude. Hey, where's the consent there? God damn it! Come on. These sleeping videos are weird, guys.
That brings up another point. This episode of I Hate the Scene is brought to you by consent. Ladies, always can not fellas,
dude, are you
fellas, yeah,
fucking
fellas
what?
always
Are you
can
trying to
consent.
strong
I
arm?
almost said ladies always consent.
You
No,
did
not
say
always
ladies
consent.
always
No, that is no,
You're
that's
trying
wrong.
to strong arm them into fucking consent right here. You think you can just get universal consent on the podcast? That's not how it works.
This is not my pussy. This pussy belong to you. You control this pussy.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't. That was
No.
okay. Moving on. So, in other
shit.
words,
Fuck me.
album reviews. We can move straight into Juice WRLD's album "Legends Never Die."
R.I.P. Man.
I dug this record. It starts out with a little motivational intro. I dig it, but I also am kind of a realist in the sense that like this is a rapper who died of an OD because he ate a handful of pills trying to hide them from TSA, and this is also a rapper who promoted a ton of drug use in all his songs. So while this record doesn't have as much as previous records, it's hard for me to hear the anxiety intro and hear him trying to be motivational to fans and then, you know, think back into previous subject matter, previous albums. Little bit of contradictory there, a little bit of hypocrisy. Nonetheless, still a good record. He wanted to change the world. He wanted to make it a better place. Juice WRLD. The verses I heard on this record, Legends Never Die, way, way better than the verses I heard on the World on Drugs record that he did with Future. I was hyped on that record, and then when I heard it, I was like, oh, this whole thing is like telling you to do drugs. I guess I could have just went on 4chan for that. Or 8chan. What'd you think of Juice WRLD, and do you know to properly spell Juice WRLD?
I know it took me a couple Spotify entries before I got it down. I didn't, yeah, you know, I never really been into Juice WRLD. I did listen to Legends Never Die just to pay my respects, and to review the album. I mean, I liked it. I did listen to the Future collab, and it didn't do it for me. And I think I actually listened to it with you, like back whenever it came out a couple years ago, because I want to say we were like driving. And you, for whatever reason, you put it on, and I just remember not vibing with it. Obviously,
I remember showing you the album cover and being like, "This is called World on Drugs."
yeah, and we laughed a little bit about it because I think we were fucking probably mega baked, and so you know, I just wasn't the biggest fan to begin with. The I'm always intrigued when an artist dies, and I was telling you about that in the IDK song, right, where he lists everybody. He does mention Juice WRLD. And it's always sucks because, you know, you never really get to see what they do. Something that I thought about today, even though I'm not a fan of his music, I'm like, man, I'm not ever going to get like another album from him and be hyped about it or be able to like experience man, I wonder what he's writing or hear that he's tweeting about a new song, right? Not even though he wasn't my favorite, I still thought about that in regards to like my favorite artist. You know, who would it suck to all of a sudden not be able to hear another album from, you know? We saw that with X. We saw that with obviously a fucking ton of hip hop artists over the last couple of years, and it sucks. But that's what came to mind, and it made me appreciate the album for sure. But again, not a huge fan.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is the exact way that I feel about Pop Smoke. I found Pop Smoke. He had a very unique voice, very deep voice, super young dude, and he was combining that like New York drill with the UK drill. He really bridged the gap between current poppin' UK hip hop artists like Skepta and the
That's
Brooklyn, New
right.
York drill
Yes, that's
style
right.
that not a lot of East Coast dudes were doing. Like for an East Coast cat, Pop Smoke is pretty unique. I think his new album is fucking incredible. I really like it. I had the same feelings you did thinking about Juice World. Like, we had Meet the Woo Part 1 and 2, and I thought they were really good. They're really good mixtapes. They're almost complete albums, but they're kind of like lacking a few things that albums have.
Quality a little
And
bit. It's quality.
yeah, it's just you could tell there's like a real street vibe, and then you get that like more pop polished vibe with like this album. Pop Smoke's Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon is supposed to be his debut LP. Sadly, it comes after the rapper was killed earlier this year. They did have an update. They arrested 5 people in the murder of Pop Smoke. They allegedly did not know him, and they
Which
got
blows
his
my mind.
address from online, similar to how 6ix9ine leaked his address. He had some sort of package that he received, and it had his address. Some dudes from LA rolled up, shot him in the middle of the night, killed him, robbed him. He's got the sickest album out right now. I think it's my number one for the week, even though it came out last week. I'm gonna let that bitch cross over into this week and battle with the Juice World album. I just like this Pop Smoke record more. As a Pop Smoke fan, I think I got the debut record as close as what he would have put out if he was alive. It's got the full length debut LP vibe to it. You have big guest appearances like Quavo, 50 Cent, Lil Baby, Gunna, all those guys. I think Future's on the record. You have really good production, but you have like some pop songs, and there's a song on there called For the Night featuring Lil Baby and Da Baby.
Yeah,
The song's fire.
that was my
It
favorite off the
shows
album.
it's super good. It shows Pop Smoke's growth as an artist because it's really different from the shit you heard on Meet the Woo, where he's spitting a lot of street stuff. This is more like real, talking about like what he's gonna, how he's gonna finesse a girl, that type of shit, how he's fly. I really dug that. The hook is super melodic. He's actually like loosely singing on it. That really like racked it up for me. That with the West Coast shit with Tyga, the record's dope. It's a good record. What do you think?
I liked it. The baby song, that was my favorite off the track. You and me talked about that a little bit. It wasn't my album for this week. I feel like if we can go into my album this week, the Pop Smoke album was good, but I liked Juice WRLD's better.
Ouch.
So yeah, so sticking to the same genre though, carrying over from last week into this week, Westside Gunn's album, that was my favorite. I feel like that was probably, it's something that I think was. I was surprised because you said you weren't into it, and so I was going into it kind of expecting like not to be blown away by it. Every track I was blown away by, every single one. I understand that it's not an album, and I get what you're talking about as far as like the build to it. It's not structured like an album, and it is kind of short. But Fly God is an awesome God. That's my album. Yeah, it was a toss up between that and Sharptooth, and that one took it from last week still.
It's tough for me because Westside Gunn honestly is
Your
my
fave.
favorite artist. It's out right now. Everything he does, every video, I'm obsessed with it. Fly God is an awesome God too is a unique record because it's a lot different than Fly God is an awesome God. That has that mainstream LP vibe that I was talking about. This record, I don't know this for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and said that this was all a bunch of B-sides and unreleased stuff. There was a record he dropped, I believe it was last year, but it was originally from like 10 years ago. He uploaded that to his iTunes catalog, and it was really similar vibe to what this record has. First off, you have one Benny the Butcher appearance, so you don't have his own rap group, Griselda, making a mass appearances on the record. So that was kind of weird. You see the other rappers that he kind of I don't even
Still
see him
got
fuck
Cook's
with them.
tracks.
He
Still
doesn't
got Cook's
fuck with
tracks
these
are the best.
rappers like currently. Like he fucked with them like back in the day. So I don't know if these songs are new, but they're definitely like really slow. They're more of that old school Griselda vibe, like pre-Shady Records. Still a dope release. Still got really interesting production. I don't think it has an Alchemist beat.
The Little Cease track was also very good with Armani Caesar.
And
That's
do you
really
know who Little Cease is?
Go enlighten me. Give it to me.
Lil Cease was part of the Junior Mafia with Notorious B.I.G.
Oh shit. OG. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right,
Lil
all right.
Cease, I believe, He's no okay. From what I've gathered from my New York friends, Lil Cease is the most respected out of the Junior Mafia camp. That includes like Little Kim and all of them. Lil Cease had bars, and New Yorkers really dug him. But after the whole Biggie thing, Lil Cease kind of disappeared, never came back. And so when you hear that name, it's kind of just stuck in a period of rap between like 97 and 98. There ain't really much after that. Like once we lost Big, and we lost Big in 97, I believe. Like there wasn't Junior Mafia and Lil Cease and much after that. Like Lil Kim made a career, but yeah, Westside Gunn's always naming his tracks after like people or wrestlers. He also like his other album, Pray for Paris. He's got a song called Party with Pop Smoke. That's another thing that kind of like signaled to me that this Fly God is an Awesome God Part 2 isn't a real album release, because when he dropped it, he said he wasn't done releasing singles and videos from Pray for Paris. Pray for Paris is the real Westside Gunn like solo record that's out
Right.
and current.
Right. And I get
This
that
is
this
like
isn't
bonus material. It's way different.
understandable. And you can tell that listening to it. You don't have anything that's really like, through and through sticks, right? There's just no flow to the album. And you can tell it's a mixtape, right? I mean, I don't
It's definitely
necessarily
a mixtape.
even
That's
argue
why
that
I'm
it's not.
kind of it's kind of
It's
weird
just
he
so
called it
good.
Fly God is an Awesome God Part 2, because Fly God like is his shit. So like Fly God is an Awesome God, the album was amazing. I don't feel that
Maybe
this
it
part
is
2
like
does it
unreleased tracks from
justice.
it. Maybe it's unreleased tracks from it. I
If
was
it
gonna
is,
say
it
it
doesn't
went
have the
slower.
same vibe.
It went be I feel like it kind of does, because there's a couple of slow tracks on Fly God is an Awesome God, the first one, that are reminiscent of like both Stove Crooks, fuck whatever, both of those tracks very reminiscent of the ones that are on Fly God Part 1. And so you saying that they might be like unreleased tracks or B-sides makes sense, or maybe he just had them stashed away and never used them, not necessarily even B-sides to that album, but could have been during that same period in that same era. But both Stovetop Cook song are very like slow and kind of like just off tempo choruses, and it reminded me a lot of Fly God, the first one. And so you saying that, I mean, you might be right, man. I won't
I
doubt it,
just
because they bust out music left and right. These guys never stop, so I wouldn't doubt that they
That's
have
yeah,
a shit a ton
very
back.
good point. These guys are pumping out music at an incredible rate, and the crazy thing about it is whether it's a Westside Gunn album mixtape, it's a Conway album, a Benny album, a Griselda album. They've done one together on Shady Records. All of it is fire, and all of it is coming out within a month or two of each other. So if you're a fan of Griselda Records like I am, you don't have to wait very long to get their music. It's kind of like we talked about DaBaby. He's planning to drop 3 albums in 13 months. Or he already has, but he wants to drop another one. So that would be, so many in so many months. It's fucking ridiculous. DaBaby's giving you like 30 minutes of twerk strip club anthems. Griselda is giving you, 45 minutes to an hour at least of like gangster records of like what street life was for them in Buffalo, New York. And it's wild. It's dope. If you're a fan of hip hop, you're a fan of East Coast shit, you like gangster rap, you ever like G Unit or The Game or Eminem or that Shady Record shit, you need to be checking out Griselda. All my hip hop heads know who they are. So maybe I'm just talking to
Dude,
my
we
lame
freak
white
out.
friends.
I mean, that could be. I think that probably is the majority of the people you at least hang out with are gonna be your lame white friends.
I'm
But
looking at one.
hey, dude, I was going to introduce you to Griselda, so back up.
The story was you introduced
What?
me to
Hey,
Royce and
dude,
you fucking didn't.
all of it, all of it. Royce, dude, remember when I fucking introduced you to fucking Eminem
Yeah.
back
I
when
need
we
a
were like
refill.
11?
God, I hate you. Lil
Can we
Wayne
talk
had
about
a new
Sharptooth?
record. No,
Fuck
fuck
Lil
you.
Wayne.
Lil Wayne
Lil
had a
Wayne.
record last week. It's called FWA. I don't know what that means.
That means
Um,
fuck Wayne, y'all. That's what it stands for.
FWY. Okay. It's dope. Like, it's cool. I'm not going to say anything on its whack. Like, it's a dope record. But if it just feels like the fairy dust or like the magic dust that was on Lil Wayne back from like 2008 to like 2015 is just kind of worn off. And everything he would touch would turn to gold. Now it doesn't feel like everything he touches. It turns into like every other song is like halfway decent, and that's not a very good statistic when you were known as the best rapper alive since the best rapper retired. I feel like Young Thug has replaced Lil Wayne's entire career and done it better because he's more melodic and you can't understand him, and that's what people like.
Yeah, you've been saying that. I mean, yeah, I'm not a Lil Wayne fan to fucking begin with, and I do like Young Thug, so he wins all day. What I do like about Lil Wayne is his reckless fucking life, and I think that every story I hear about Lil Wayne doesn't surprise me, doesn't make me any more shocked or any less shocked. I've always liked Lil Wayne when he has either a really strong feature or he's on songs that are really strong. He's on a couple
I
of Drake
think when
tracks that I
he's
really like.
featured, he does better.
And I really like his tracks that he's on with Drake. I really like the tracks that he's on, with fucking, yeah. I'm not hyped up to Lil Wayne. I never understood why people were hyped up to Lil Wayne. I get it. I get that who he is, and yeah, still fly. Like I understand who Birdman is, but I just don't. I never understood the hype as considering him one of the greatest, and people have named him that, put him in that label, and I'm like, no, what? Jay-Z, Eminem.
When
we're
we
talking about
were in
these
high
greatest?
school, Lil Wayne was featured on every album, every remix, every radio single. He was everywhere, and he had this reputation that he would
I
Jay Z a
considered him like
record.
Little John though. I considered him just to be there because he was like annoying at the time or like
But Little John's
into
completely
it.
different in the sense that Little John makes your beat and then he yells on it. Lil Wayne will actually like drop a really hot verse on your shit.
Right, right. I mean, and he does. Again, the features were phenomenal. But I don't. What was he doing that was keeping him above par everybody else?
He would go in the booth and he would Jay Z a record, so he would one take it. So he would go in there and he wouldn't write anything down. He would essentially, according to the story, I didn't witness it with my own eyes. He went in there and he just one take the shit. Now I can believe that because when I worked back in radio, I used to work in FM radio and do a hip hop station, and Wayne's songs were all over the radio. We'd get sent all sorts of CDs featuring Wayne and singles and shit. And I remember talking to someone like, "You really think he's that good?" And he's like, "Here's the thing about Lil Wayne. He's either gonna drop the hottest verse ever, or he's gonna say some dumb shit." Like, have you ever noticed how often he talks about fellatio?
Yeah, yeah,
He talks about
yeah.
getting his
Because
dick
he's had like
sucked and
ten
eating
thousand.
pussy
Yeah,
more than anyone else.
and he's getting old and crusty. So I don't know how much longer we can take eating pussy and
And
fucking sucking dick
the
songs. I don't get it.
million metaphors for each of them was just fucking ridiculous. Oh shit, it's a run-in.
Oh dang!
Damn. Oh man, you look sweaty.
Yeah, dude, what are you
Oh my
doing?
God. I just moved a bunch of bullshit storage container into my new place and then realized that I forgot the railings to my bed.
Oh
So I
no!
set it up right.
Oh
Hey, that's
man.
what you got a floor for, homie.
Yeah.
That you're currently laying on, about to pass out. What are you doing? Oh shit!
Episode 14 is officially the run-in episode.
There you go.
So what's up, everybody? How's it going? Hey, hi.
We were
Yeah.
actually just discussing Lil Wayne and his new record. Do you have any sort of opinion on Lil Wayne?
No opinion at all.
What are you even doing here, bro? Why'd you even run in? What are you fucking doing?
I'm the most unprepared. I've been living at my girlfriend's dad's house for.
Yeah.
Are we being quiet?
Oh no! I mean, I'm just trying. I don't know. I've never used my phone to do something.
Okay.
So I don't know.
You've never used a phone?
Dang,
I've
that's
never
crazy.
used a phone to communicate.
We can tell. We can tell. It's kind of funny. Oh, it's so weird. There's buttons that you can push to make us louder if you want, because I know we're whispering.
Button on mine. It's just a flat screen.
Oh, you got the wrong one.
Brian's going to be really tripped out when Goldust and Ken Shamrock make the next run-in.
or fucking Team Canada, since we just got done watching every pay-per-view from '97. Hey, what are
Hey,
you
what-
listening to, Rick Shaw? What's up? God, dude, I'm loving the stash, bro. Fucking, you're getting me wet. Stop.
Yeah.
Sup.
Y'all are gross, okay? We've already
Suck.
said, like, pussy and dick on this episode, okay?
A
Keep it
bunch
to a
of
minimum.
times.
I like those things. Keep saying them.
Yeah.
You make.
So you don't have an opinion on Lil Wayne, Pop Smoke, Juice World, any dead rapper that put out a new CD this week?
You know,
Or any soon-to-be dead rapper.
it's hard for me to keep up with music nowadays, especially hip hop, because I feel like if I hear about a new record, it's usually a metal record, or it's usually some sort of, band. I have heard my friend Fuzz text me today, and he goes, "Yo, I heard the new Static X was sick."
The Degeneration Volume 1. Hey.
No.
Hey.
And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Hell yeah." And
R.I.P. Wayne Static.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. So I was gonna give that a listen. New
Shouts to
Amir.
Chris Fuzz Hodebeck. I think that's how you say his last name.
Yeah, shout out Fuzz. I also been jamming the new Amir album.
Yep.
That shit.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed the new Emmer album.
The new.
Yeah, the new Emmer. Yeah, they're a new band, dude. You probably haven't heard of them. Their first album is
super heavy,
called
bro.
Hindsight.
Super heavy, bro.
They're like
Probably-
pretty new.
Probably too heavy.
Right
Yo,
now,
yeah, tell your
Orange.
boy Frankie that that Scene God song gets me horny.
Dude, I think the whole album's pretty sick.
What
Look
would
at me
you
out.
have done if he just mentions you in the middle of that verse, like something Attila, blah 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 blah, Rick Shaw?
Dude, you know what? I would probably feel proud. Like, Tom Green, whenever Tom Green goes to college.
Yeah.
Tom Green went to college.
He's also really into sausages.
Dog.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
I just realized how shitty I look, and so I should probably take a nap or something.
Or kill
Where's your
yourself,
mask at, bro?
whatever. It's up to you, bro.
Hey man, how's the new city? How you liking it?
Yeah,
I
where's
won't,
your
I won't
mask?
state publicly where you live, but
Well, for one, since I haven't been able to move into my new home until 10 days after I was originally supposed to, it was like, hey, I'm staying at someone else's house. And then also it's like COVID's going strong, so we haven't really went anywhere.
welcome home, baby.
But this day, like, I live in Austin because I do have a home here now.
There you go, man. I'm proud. I'm glad you do. Glad you
Woo!
do. We need to link
Yeah,
up
for having a
sure.
home. It ain't
We-
cardboard,
yeah.
baby.
I'm definitely gonna hit y'all up about doing like a podcast with me.
A joint
Okay.
OnlyFans where we all get naked together.
Hey, Travis with the CH. Travis Chaos. OnlyFans. Shout out. With the CH. Travis with the CH.
Travis with the CH.
If you think I'm joking, go check it out. Give it a follow.
Oh, good times.
I did want to just pop in and say hi though, but I'm just gonna like order my home. But I definitely have had ideas for y'all to jump in on a podcast with me and someone else and y'all too. How do you feel about that?
Fuck yeah, man. That'd be
I'm
dope.
down. Do I have to wear pants?
No, yeah. Of course.
No,
Cool. I'm
No.
in. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
in.
cool. But I am gonna go.
Take it easy, man.
It was fun chat, and hey everyone, wear a mask.
Yeah, you heard it here first from Rickshaw, motherfuckers. Wear a
He
mask.
could have like shouted out his own podcast, but instead the only message he had was to wear a mask. That's how much
Wear
it
a
means
mask,
to him.
motherfucker.
Wear a mask. You know why? Because like we should be opening things up again, and it should be gone.
Yeah, how's life?
And I
how's
should
life
be out on tour right now. I shouldn't be having to work at a fucking Best Buy and tell you why your MacBook doesn't work, Karen.
doing security. He does security.
But yeah, you know what? I have plenty of time to shout out my podcast other days of the week. So, right?
Perfect.
Give it a shout out now, dude. Just give it one. Just fucking go. Just
Worship
do
and
it.
Tribute Nerd. What up? We have
Google it.
YouTube. We have a Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Apple Podcasts. If you got any questions for me, worship and tribute nerd at gmail.com.
That'll be $75.
This is paid advertising, goddammit.
I'll Venmo you. I hit you in a minute.
All right, sweet.
Later, brother, later.
All right,
Beautiful.
later.
I feel like I just got hit over the head with a chair.
How did he fucking get in here? How did he just fucking slide in like that?
I don't
What
know.
was
We
it
must
about?
have like the shittiest mainframe, dude. This shit's
What the
whack.
fuck?
Motherfuckers just slipping in left and right. I don't even know where I left off.
We were talking about Lil Wayne. How did he just slide in? When did that become a thing?
StreamYard has been compromised. That was weird.
Are you fucking? If you're gonna have him slide in, have him slide in with some notes, my guy. Like, he was like, moving.
Tried to give him notes. He didn't care. Straight up was like, hey, anything you want? Nope. Okay.
Oh man,
Preach.
a run-in. This is beautiful.
Gucci Mane dropped an album, so if you are tired of selling nickel bags while listening to Real Big Fish, it's time to put in the Gucci Mane Presents the So Icy Summer. I don't have much to say about this record. It's ghetto, it's dope. You should listen to it while selling dope, but only ounces and up, no small shit.
Didn't listen to it, can tell you that right now, and all I can afford to sell is nickel bags. So what else am I really gonna do here, Matt? Is this music supposed to help me sell better wheat?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like if you sold drugs when you got the first Young Jeezy album, it would have like tripled your price. Like, yeah, Mr. 17.5.
Young Jeezy album. Hey, can we please talk about fucking Sharptooth, an actual good album that released this week? Can we please do that?
I listened to
Appreciate
one
it.
song off it. It was like, whatever. Go for it.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
fucking offended.
Yeah, I
Anyways,
said it.
Sharptooth released their album today called Transitional Forms. They are an East Coast hardcore band. They are signed to Pure Noise Records, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone on tours with the likes of Census Fail, Knock Loose, Less Than Jake, a whole plethora of artists, right? You wouldn't assume like a Less Than Jake, Census Fail mixture there, but you got it. These guys are.
I wouldn't
like
have thought of either one of those names in 2020.
Wow, bro.
Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry, not sorry.
Dang. They've also
Somebody is
toured
out
with-
skating in pitch blackness right now going, hey, did someone just insult Less Than Jake?
I
Fuck
wasn't
that
talking
guy.
about Less Than Jake. I was talking about Census Fail. Fuck Less Than Jake. Although Less Than Jake has like that one song where they played the trumpet at the beginning, and I feel like everybody loves that song. So
That's every song they've ever done.
that's how every song starts by Less Than Jake. There you go. Their whole discography. They also toured with Comeback Kid, Obey the Brave, a bunch of other bands. They are without a doubt a hardcore influenced band, but they do have the metalcore style, the breakdowns. They get kind of mathy at times, weird time signatures. They kind of remind me of like a Code Orange, but without the use of like the electronics and the distortions to like the sound. They're fucking phenomenal female singer. You're not going to recognize that whatsoever. It sounds like at times maybe two vocalists, but it's just her. Hardcore style vocals, metalcore style vocals, and there's like chanting, singing. There's not really any type of like singing chorus, so you're not going to get that here. But you are going to get an aggressive album, 10 tracks, phenomenal layout. I think it's probably going to be for those like anarchist types because they are very political. They have an old song called Fuck Trump something, and they're just, they're from Baltimore, Maryland. They go up and down the East Coast for like the first 2 years of their career, making a total statement, and they were recognized by Decibel magazine, I believe, for...
I think it's pronounced Decibel.
Decibel magazine recognized them before they were even signed. So they've got a shit ton of recognition for being just a chaotic live band and putting together some really good music. Check them out. Sharptooth, Transitional Forms.
Shouts to every member of Less Than Jake for looking like
No.
a shitty Blockbuster manager.
They don't... Wow.
They hella do. Look
Yeah,
at
they
it. They all
do.
look like they manage a
Oh, show it to me.
Blockbuster in Washington.
The last existing Blockbuster, mind you.
Yeah. So shouts to them. Shouts to
Can you,
Gainesville,
real quick,
Florida.
Can we point that back up here? Can we get that back up here real quick for a review? I had to make a couple call outs here. First of all, sir, you have dreadlocks, and is that a... Oh, that's a hoodie. From here, it doesn't look like he's wearing an undershirt. So it looks like he's literally wearing a button-up cowboy shirt with, like, dreadlocks. And I was about to go berserker on him. I was about to go, what the fuck are you wearing?
Do you realize you
the
have
homeboy-
$16 of late fees on your account?
The homeboy on the far left with the hat looks like my boy Brian Klingenpeel. Shout out Brian Klingenpeel. What up? I don't know who else was in that. It looks
He
like
looks. I don't know who that guy is, but he looks a bit racist.
he's not. Brian Klingenpeel is a fucking saint, sir.
Shouts to Gainesville, Florida, for housing these sons of bitches, and shouts to 1992, the year Less Than Jake formed.
Shout out
God.
to Gainesville for being the shittiest part of Florida, 100%.
Shouts to AJ Styles. Oh, he's from Gainesville, Georgia. Never mind. Dude,
Hey, you know that fucking he's buried in some shitty ass fucking Florida graveyard after that WrestleMania match.
Oh no, he's been on TV since then, dude. Yeah, he's alive. Amber Maelstrom says,
Huh.
dude, New Jersey has no bands, so leave Census Fail alone. Misfits and Census Fail is all we have.
Coheed too.
I know that there was a band on Warped Tour that I was on called Old Wounds that I thought was going to be a big deal. I don't know if they broke up, but they're definitely from Jersey.
They tour with Thrice pretty frequently. Thrice, shout out, fucking 14 weeks, baby, in a row.
God
You can't escape it. But
damn,
hey, it's like
dude.
6
Oh
degrees
my
of separation.
God.
It's like 6 degrees of separation because every time I've brought them up, it's been relevant. Old Wounds used to tour with fucking Thrice. Check it.
Are you? Oh my God! If I look that up and find it not to be true, I'm gonna
It
be
might not be
fucking
true.
angry.
Hold on. I'm gonna
I don't
figure
think it
this
is.
out.
I think you have them mistaken with another band because I don't think you've ever heard this band.
Old Wounds for sure.
Because like yeah, they weren't that old when they did Warped in 2016. Dude, they don't even have a Wikipedia page.
I know. I'm looking at it right now.
Jesus.
Go on, do your own thing. I'll research it.
I don't have anything. That was my whole thing. I was just gonna talk about New Jersey hardcore until this ended.
Oh no. Why?
So here's an album. I was gonna download this because I'm a fan of electro, and then you said something about them. The Midnight, their new album, Monsters. I dig it. It's not the best dance or electro record that I've heard all year, but it's dope. And it's definitely worth a listen, probably like on a long drive or maybe when you're rolling one up. It's more chill than it is dancey. It's something I could jam on a long drive or blazing hell to. Cool tones. And there's some of the sounds from Toto's Africa are featured in their songs. And so I dig that.
Their intro is like a rainforest and like some African drums, right?
It's definitely where I got that from.
Yeah. So the Midnight is phenomenal. It's two gentlemen. They put out. That's what their music is. Their music is definitely dance music, but it's infused with like an '80s synth pop. Maybe like fucking. I don't want to say Madonna or Cyndi Lauper, but they definitely have like that bum, 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 that like poppy little sampling that they'll use in between like the drops, in between the the build ups. They use a lot of samples. They use a lot of retro type of influence in their songs, and I really like it. It's almost as if you were to take the Weekend album and just take the Weekend out of it, and add some dance vibes to it.
It's just the week.
Yeah, it's just the week. The weekday. No, it's the midnight. That's what it is. Exactly. But yeah, it's and I'm in a real big dance mode right now because every year I'd be at Hard Summer within this month. So for about 2 months out of the year, I go hard on some dance music, and I want to say, fuck, who else just released an album? And it was probably one of the bigger ones. Let me check on that for you because I didn't listen to it yet, but I have a whole list of albums from the last like 2 months that I've downloaded, and
Beartooth got certified gold or something for their song In Between. Did you guys hear about that? No. I also never liked that band.
I do like Beartooth, mostly because of Caleb. Caleb is someone that when we met him.
It's the only reason anyone likes that band.
Yeah, we met him in Attack Attack, and he was a very just I don't know kind dude. And
he was super nice.
Young. He was young, and you could tell that he was maybe a little intimidated by the road.
His dad's a pastor, and he made me edit the episode where they talked about their dicks.
Yep, and I feel like growing up in that kind of world where you're definitely sheltered and you're kind of shut off from the world. Plus, you are
just
dealing with
because they're
some
from
mental
Ohio
stuff.
doesn't mean they're sheltered.
No, but he talks about being sheltered throughout like his life and
I don't listen to Beartooth, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, well, anyways, he talks about growing up that way, and that's what fed into like his depression and his anxiety, because he just fucking struggled. He struggled with like coping. He struggled with like friend groups. He struggled with like self harm. Obviously, being young, being in a band, he was exposed to a lot of shit that wasn't good for him. And he talks about that, and I think that transcends into the music. So you're kind of following Caleb when you listen to Beartooth, and I think that anything that they get recognized for, it's because of the passion that he has for the music and for the art and for what he puts into his projects. And so yeah, you are kind of celebrating Caleb when you celebrate them. And I say the same thing for anything Jason Allen does, from fucking Let Live and Fever 333. He's the exact same way. Anything he touches reaches some sort of peak, and it's because he's something else, man. They're masterminds behind what they're doing, and they're able to create successful bands with them. And you see that with people. I mean, you see it with fucking horrible people like Austin Carlisle too, right? Wherever they go, people kind of follow. So, but good for them. I'm glad they got it.
Beartooth is a band I was definitely wrong about when they came out. I didn't really have high hopes for them. I heard that Red Bull Records was a new thing, that they were throwing money at like a bunch of bands, and that they didn't really have like a long term plan. So I don't know if Beartooth just dropped one or two records there and then like moved on to somewhere else. But Beartooth got theirs. I didn't know Caleb was like a producing extraordinaire. I didn't know that he was like really suited to run a band and to be the front man, but I was wrong. He totally is.
My favorite
Beartooth
version
is,
of Attack Attack, hands down.
yeah,
This is him.
they're really Beartooth is really well liked and respected in this particular metalcore scene. I think I just like I miss the bar on them because the same way that we make fun of Vinny for thinking Slaves is the measuring stick. To me, if you're gonna talk post-hardcore, there's some really solid post-hardcore bands that I would stack you up against. Like, if you say that's your genre, I'm going to compare you to bands like Dance Gavin Dance or Chiodos or From Autumn to Ashes or Broadway or
Dang, dude.
any
Can we
like
get a
the
shout out to
rise.
Constellations from the Broadway? Fuck, son.
Dude, Broadway had that killer record Kingdoms, which is like a post-hardcore bible for a lot, and then
Gentleman's Brawl was dope. Gentleman's Brawl was
they
fire.
kind
Where
of
they're
never
fighting the
really
kangaroo.
followed it up.
And then they did Constellations, which flew under the radar, but also a phenomenal album. All three of them.
Also, the band Closure in Moscow. They sound a lot like the Mars Volta, but
Yeah.
I fucking love Closure in Moscow. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know why it took so long for follow up record. If anyone knows those guys from Australia, tell them to holler at us because I got a lot to talk about that first Temple album from '09. That was fucking great. But I mean, those are the bands I'm going to stack you against. So like, if you're like a young kid and you listen to a new metalcore band, you're probably going to stack it up against a band like Beartooth or of Mice and Men, where I would probably stack it up against a Devil Wears Prada or I don't know, Kill Switch was pretty metalcore.
Atreyu as Lay Dying, any of those. Yeah, Every Time I Die is early stuff.
Yeah, something like that. Like
Um,
I never liked of Mice and Men, so there's like a bunch of bands that people just got into, like the Warped Tour scene, like late on, that I was just like, yeah, I'm done letting in new bands, and that was it. Plus, I was mad at of Mice and Men because Valentino Ortega left Lower Definition and said he was done with bands, and then popped up in of Mice and Men, and like one of my favorite bands had to break up because of that. Like that shit sucked.
yeah,
So I'm
we were.
bitter.
Hey, that's the name of the game here in the scene. Real quick, can we talk about O.J. Simpson being a fucking asshole and just dancing through Vegas on his birthday, giving everybody fucking COVID because he wasn't wearing a stupid mask? You heard Rick Shaw. You heard him. He said wear a fucking mask, people.
I want to say no to be a dick, but yeah, let's hear it.
That's just it. I had to fucking go off on O.J. Simpson. He's a fucking
Oh,
asshole. How are
okay.
you gonna fucking dance through Las Vegas without a fucking mask on, you asshole? You're an old ass man and you killed somebody. I hope you die.
Look, OJ, it was
You're
bad
not funny on
enough.
Twitter.
Look, OJ, it was bad enough that, you played for the Bills, but to not wear a mask and go out in public, like, fuck. Are you really trying to get people killed? I mean, seriously.
Are ya?
And on that note, see me on Grand Theft Auto 5 online with my boys, the 86 Ounces in a Duffel Bag Gang. Shouts to them, Sam Calvin, Cal Richards, who's soon changing his last name to Cal, for fuck's sakes. And shouts to our boy Razzle Dazzle, Ryan Gardner. What's going on here? If anyone plays Xbox and you want to school me on some sports games or get your motherfucking ass whooped, then check me out. I see Hyphy on Xbox Live. That is EYESEE space HYPHY. It's pretty easy. I am
Doesn't
available.
fucking sound like it.
Oh, it's real easy. I see Hyphy, bro. You can check me out online. All my socials are pretty easy. It's at iHateTheScene on Instagram, TikTok, iHateTheScene.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is this terrible name you see right here.
Fuck you, Jeff Colborn.
TE the Scene. That is not his name.
Fuck you, Jeff.
It's I Hate the Scene with an 8. IH8TE the Scene. Go follow me. Tell all your friends to follow me. I need more Twitter followers. I am very sad, very lonely. Next week, I have an awesome show in store for you guys because Connecticut's metalcore geniuses, Currents, will be joining us. They have one of the hottest albums out right now, definitely causing a stir in the metalcore world. So everyone who likes breakdowns and bouncy shit will be stoked to hear that. But if you don't click on this show and rate and review and subscribe, then you don't get Currents. If you don't eat your meat, then you don't get any pudding. So rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. We are available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the fuck it's called, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. I think there's a new like Hello Kitty Island Adventure phone service. We're available on that. We're on YouTube, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you don't catch us live, you can catch all our videos uploaded on Saturdays after the fact. Brian, where can they find you besides in a gutter?
Wow.
Crying about Thrice.
Shout out to my boy. I don't know why I'd be crying, dude. They're killing the game, son. Killing it in 2020. Shout out to my boy Alex, who's competing tonight at a jiu-jitsu tournament. Hope you fucking kick ass, my guy. Shout out to Civil War Boy for being a fucking asshole. Shout out to Jim Colburn for fucking stealing the I Hate the Scene Twitter handle. If you don't give us that fucking back, my guy, we're going to have to send people after you, and you know that that's going to be a fucking thing. So watch
What was
yourself.
your second shout out? Civil War guy?
Civil War Boy from my fucking work came in all hot. Just giving him a shout out just so he recognizes. Hey, look at me.
I'ma fuck you up.
Hey, dog.
That's a criminal threat.
You can find me at of Brian of Death right down there on Twitter and on Instagram. You can find me at my podcast commonchaos.net as well. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we have Currents next week. It's going to be a phenomenal show, and hopefully Kanye doesn't lose his mind anymore. We can come back with some more great Kanye news.
Nah, lose your mind, Kanye, and make more great albums. I am officially off Facebook ban, so catch me on Facebook. Tomorrow I'm off IG ban, so I'm free from everything. It's like I'm on parole again. I just reshared a really funny tweet on Twitter. This is one of the many reasons you should follow me for the witty shit that I post. I reshared this one, but it says, "Girls don't want love. Girls want the Vans Warped Tour back."
That's not true. Girls between the ages of 15 and 23, maybe.
I don't think it's true either, but a few people have reshared it, and that's all that really matters. Controversial opinions. I saw a rival podcast said that girl, she has a weird name like Booka or something from Make Them Suffer. They said she was metalcore's greatest vocalist.
No, bro,
maybe
it's
in
too
a
early.
couple years, but like, how can you say she's the best when she's not even featured on half of her band's new album? And like, she's singing with 1,000 filters over her voice. She hasn't even found her style yet. How can you award her the crown? Second,
Can we
unpopular
elaborate that on
opinion-
that next week?
Oh, I sure will. And if you want, you can go back and check out my Make Them Suffer review from 2 episodes ago and figure out why I exactly feel that way. Also, second unpopular opinion on Twitter, someone said Parkway Drive has no bad albums. Sir, I would like to introduce you to Atlas.
Every album. Let's be real.
Wow. No, they have 2 really good albums.
Their first
Killing
2.
with a Smile and Deep Blue.
Horizons. Oh, Horizons is
Okay,
good too.
yeah, Horizons is cool too, but Deep Blue is probably their best, and then they followed it up with their worst, Atlas, which is like punk influenced, and it can go straight to hell.
See, I didn't like Deep Blue. I thought Killing with a Smile and Horizons, their metalcore influenced ones were better. They got a little stadium rocky, a little stadium metal.
Deep Blue
when
has
they
some
went
of
to
the
Deep
best
Blue.
drums I've ever heard.
No, that's the worst part of it is it's overproduced. It's too fucking
Yeah,
poppy sounding.
yeah,
No,
big
miss
ass
me with
drums.
that. Miss me with that. You know what
It's
I'm
like
doing
Phil
right
Collins
now?
played
You know
a
what I'm
metalcore
doing right
record.
now? I would do
Fiddle
what you
in
would,
your diddly stick.
I would do what you would do with any fucking any Parkway Drive album after Horizons. I'm wiping my ass with it. That's what I'm doing. Although I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it in my hand. No other run-ins too. You didn't organize that very well.
Yeah, I know. He was supposed
Looks
to wear
like
a lucha mask and have a chair.
Looks like I'm leaving with the belt again.
Shouts to Dustin Reynolds, a.k.a. Goldust, who did not appear. I don't know why I even bothered sending him the link.
You know what? That's so funny that you say that because I interviewed my buddy Justin, who's a huge wrestling fan, and he says that he's reached out to Goldust several times, and they have like an Instagram relationship. So you know that he's like a good dude listening to fans. He probably just hates the fucking show.
Yeah, probably. He has a red face now, and he's in AEW.
I know. Well, yeah, you can't take the Goldust gimmick. WWF probably owns his soul.
Oh my god. So yeah, on that note, if you're a wrestling fan, hit us up. Tell us like wrestling shit because we always get off on that. And rate, review, subscribe.
We don't get off on anything, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we get
This
off
is a
on that big
fucking-
time.
What?
Shouts
What?
to Rick Shaw. Shouts to the Worship and Tribute Nerds podcast. Definitely don't subscribe to that.
Definitely don't subscribe to Tiger Girls Club.
Definitely don't subscribe to Brian's crappy Common Chaos podcast.